Hey, Finger likes math and history, and we are gonna be learning about what's beyond the method with cpctc. So we understand from the last video where it is corresponding parts are congruent to triangles are congruent. That can explain that all the parts of a triangle are congruent. We could also understand about all radii of a circle is congruent. So no matter where you put a point on the circumference in the circle, then you can draw an imaginary line from the center to the point because you understand that the radius or the distance between the center and the circumference is congruent. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to expand our logical thinking today. We're trying to increase our range because sometimes problems like this are going to give you ideas and steps where you actually have to make lines, make this point. So you gotta make the point and prove the point. Let's expand the range.
능 스쿠크 다이스크 꽁 피크민 흔히만 함으로인 듯 쑥쑥 쳐. 후 피크민 허스는 오니언 돌토록 탁탁 쪼와이.
So to understand what is happening, we're gonna try and solve out this proof. So given AB as a segment is congruent to AC. It also explains to us that segment BD is congruent to segment CD. So BD and CD are going to be congruent. But the question is, how can we prove that ABD and how can we prove that ACD are congruent? How can we prove that this angle right there is going to be congruent with that angle right there? So let's get started. We already know all this stuff right here.
Few moments later, one eternity later.
So that was all of our given phases. So what we can observe about the triangle is if we already know all of our givens, there is something that we can target towards and look for that could help us understand that these two angles are congruent. Well, did you remember earlier in the video is sometimes we sort of have to make our own lines? Well, here is something that we can do that we can make our own line. We can say that AD is a line. And that is because 2 points can bring us a line. So AD is now officially a line because now we have 2 points. That is the whole point. So now we have our imaginary line. Not only we can say that AD is now a line segment, what we can say now is it can be congruent to each other. Because what we're trying to do is understand if there are triangles that are congruent, then that will give us an express train to find out that if these two are congruent to each other. So now we can say AD is congruent to AD as segments. The reason why we can say reflexive. So we can now flex. Yeah, the line is really saying to the others that I can be myself and basically I am the same thing as myself. So we have all the parts to make a triangle that are congruent. Well, 2 triangles. We have a segment, a segment, a segment, we're gonna say that it's gonna be colored in red. Now let's try purple. We also have a segment, a segment, a segment. So I'm gonna try and color that in purple because we used green the last time in the last video. So now what we can say is these two triangles are congruent. But, why? We said it earlier in the series of the geometry course is if you have all the parts like segment, 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 you can figure out that there are two triangles that are congruent. So we can say triangle ABD is congruent with triangle ABCD. The reason why is we found SSS. We can use 3 segments to determine that these are congruent triangles. And now that makes us into an express train. What we can now express is if the parts that are corresponding to each other are congruent, we can automatically say cpctc. We can literally say angle ABD is gonna be congruent with angle ACD. These two are now congruent because we've proven that there are two congruent triangles, and all the parts that make up them are also congruent. So that's why it's called corresponding parts that are congruent triangles that are congruent. There we go. We now proven this thing. But the whole point of this video was sometimes people in geometry have to make their imaginary lines. Sometimes they actually have to make their own math. Like, if we have 2 points, we can turn it into a line. If we have like a triangle, we can change it into something else. If the problem says it wants us to say that this point is a median, bam, now we can say that that is an angle bisector with that or that. We can also say that these two are congruent segments. So this is way beyond cpctc. And not only that, it's also beyond trying to come up with the radii with the circles and what the distances are. I hope this video has helped you understand beyond the cpctc. Thank you for watching Top Opinion Lies the Math Industry. Like and subscribe.